One of Sean Diddy Combs' defense attorneys is trying to withdraw from the music artist's sex trafficking case. Anthony Rico filed notice last week that he no longer wants to represent Combs, and he did not give a reason other than saying, quote, "Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel." Rico has not shied away here from high-profile clients, including represented a terrorism case involving associates of Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda and New York City Councilman Larry Seabrook during his corruption trial. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes now joining us. What would you make here? What would you think an attorney would want to leave such a high-profile case?
We can jump to a lot of conclusions, right? You can say, wow, he's represented all these crazy folks in the past with checkered backgrounds. Why would he not want to continue to represent these folks? I tell all my clients this when they meet with me, that this type of engagement is a relationship. It's where if you're asking me to represent you, it's a meeting of the minds. Yes, it's contractual. Yes, I'll send you a retainer agreement. Yes, you'll exchange funds. But when we remove all of that, it's, do you really like me? Do I really like you? Do I feel comfortable?
Trust, yeah.
Do you trust me? Do you feel comfortable with me advocating on your behalf? Do I feel comfortable advocating on your behalf? And if we come to a meeting of the minds, which I'm assuming they did at some point in the beginning, then we'd come together, my team would send an agreement out, and then we'd work together. But somewhere during the course of the relationship, things happen, just like in a marriage. Sometimes folks drift apart, and sometimes things are let out during the course of the investigation, or I should say during the course of the representation, where you recognize that, hey, I'm maybe not comfortable going the next mile with this case as I thought I was. He said there are a couple of things, and you have to read between the lines. He said there's two things. It's effective assistance, right? Or you have the opposite of that, which is ineffective assistance of counsel. You don't want that as an attorney. Ineffective assistance of counsel means you didn't do your job. So he said, I can no longer go forward effectively assisting this person, meaning I can't do my job. In court, because I can't do my job, I need you to grant me the permission, the authority to walk away from this relationship. Basically, grant my divorce.
Is there some possible case here where it could be a conflict of interest?
Though that's normally something that you would do before the relationship. You'd say, hey, have I dated you in the past? Have I dated anyone that you know in the past? That conflict of interest is required. You want to have a conflicts check. You want to ensure that you don't have anything that puts you or the client's best interest, I should say your client's best interest in the crosshairs. And so you run down that and make sure, hey, have I represented anyone that you've known in the past? Have I represented someone maybe that's going against you in this matter? And if I have a duty to say, you know what, I can't represent you going forward. Sometimes a conflict may arise that wasn't disclosed in the beginning. Then you're saying, you know what, you didn't tell me this in the beginning, and now you're bringing this up, I got to step away. There could have been a number of things that have happened, but if I'm going to gamble on this, I can guarantee it heads more on just the relationship deteriorating. That irreconcilable differences that you see with divorces is something that you see with client representation all the time.
And could it be a possibility where the client doesn't want to listen to the attorney?
That also happens as well, but again, that deteriorates the relationship. If I'm constantly saying, this is the strategy, this is where I think we should go, and I have a client that's saying, you know what, I don't really agree with that, I want to go a different direction, it's always the client's decision. But I'm going to lay the roadmap, and if I've recognized that this client is not listening to any of the advice that I'm giving, sometimes that's time for you to say, you know what, let's part ways before we get to trial, before we get down to this jury selection. Because once we get to this part, there's not a judge in America letting you step away from the case.
Certainly a high-profile case when you're talking about Diddy Combs right now. All right, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thanks.